Everyone, I'm back again. So Lumia 1520 versus Xperia Z2, both of them are excellent camera phones with their 20 megapixel shooters, but if you were to buy one, which I think they're about the same price now, probably the 1520 is a bit cheaper, which one would you be more happy with? I think it depends on your preferences in regards to the software, as well as some other things that may sway your decision, because really I struggled to think about which one I prefer, because they both have some really nice features, all the way from their build quality. This is my black Z2. I've also got a purple one which also looks very nice, I'm always impressed by how Sony has improved its design language all the way from the Xperia Z. They've just brought out the Xperia Z3, which is even more refined than the Z2, but I still think the Z2 is a really nice looking phone. It feels quite solid in the hand and very premium. It's not the most ergonomic of phones. It's a bit sharp around the edges, and those flaps are a bit annoying still, but I'm still not sure of what sort of black magic Sony uses to not cover the headphone jack and still make it waterproof, which is a real bonus. It's just a really nice feel in the hand, and something that definitely feels solid. And obviously it's not too big, it's only 5.2 inches with a very nice bezel ratio. On the other hand, the 1520, it's a very big phablet. Some people would laugh at you using such a big phone. But with the Nexus 6 coming out, it's not such a big deal anymore, it feels, however, very solid in the hand. It's really got that nice Lumia type of aesthetic to it, much more than the 930. It really feels well made and solid in the hand. I'd say it feels more solid than the Z2. Like if I was to drop this down like a stairs or something, I wouldn't be so worried about it being damaged as I would the Z2. To me, it just feels like it would, take the hit a bit more. Not so sure about this lens sticking out. That's a bit annoying. They could have made it so that it's in, because that could be prone to scratching in that. But other than that, it's a very nice minimalistic Nokia design, and I'm a bit gutted that Microsoft have announced today that they're getting rid of Nokia's logo, I think, or branding, and just sticking with Lumia kind of thing. I think Nokia should still be at the forefront on the device, because they are responsible for some of the nicest designs in mobile technology. But in terms of aesthetics, I can't really choose a favourite between these. I think that the Z2 feels a bit more pocketable, obviously because of the screen size, but the 1520, to me, it has that nice Lumia look about it, and they're just excellent feelers all around. In terms of the screen technology, you're looking at IPS LCD displays, which come in very nice high resolution. I think the resolution on the Z2 is probably a little bit higher, because obviously it's a little smaller screen, but it shouldn't be. So the Z2 actually has a higher pixel density of 424 ppi versus the 1520 with its 367 ppi. So obviously when you are looking at a high resolution screen, what you're getting with that is a very nice kind of web browsing experience with very little chafing of the text and ugly, blurring kind of thing until you zoom in. And you'll find that both of them do deal with web browsing in a very nice way. I'm not going to say that I prefer one over the other really in this respect, because in terms of portability, when you're on the move, you just want to check something out, it's probably a little bit easier to reach for the Z2. But if you really want a nice multimedia experience, then that massive 1520 screen, full HD, you can't really beat that, to be honest. And when you consider the size difference, you can see that you do fit in quite a bit more content on the 1520 when fully zoomed it out, should I say. And unlike the 1320 with its low resolution screen, it doesn't look ugly kind of thing when zoomed out. So it's a really nice rich multimedia experience on the 1520. And if you're a fan of that kind of thing, then I think that you'll be happy to carry around such a big device. And that extends to everything really when it comes to the 1520, whether it's your video watching or your productivity, such as using Office on the device. You do get I think some productivity app on the Sony Z2. I think it's either Kingsoft or OpenOffice or something like that, but I rarely go into it, to be honest, so I don't even know where it is, if it's even on here. But it's not, it doesn't jump out at me. I'm guessing it's probably on the Play Store somewhere. But you do get all that functionality obviously on the 1520, nice and prominent, displayed on the home screen. So I think if you're looking for something where you really want to be productive and get things done on the move, then the 1520, you can't really beat it. But I think where the 1520 may fall down is obviously the app situation is a little bit behind when it comes to basic stuff, such as for example some of the apps which are missing. I'm not a big app person, so I don't really notice it myself, but if you're a big app person, you may notice that. You'll find that the Google Play Store has a lot more apps to it and a lot more options really. It's getting better on the Windows Phone operating system, but it's just a lot more stuff you could do. It's like as well, installing different launchers. Something here called Smart Launcher. Never used it before and don't really know what to expect. But it's that sense of customizability and exploring, which is really nice on Android. But some people may not like that and may think it's very kind of too much to take in. And for those type of people, they'll like the consistent interface of Windows Phone 8.1, which does come with its notification center now, although it is a bit Spartan. And as you can see, it does support all the main apps such as your eBay, your LinkedIn, your NatWest, your BBC, etc. So all the main stuff is there, all the stuff I use anyway. But just be aware of that if you are an app person. Going to get rid of that and put Sony's skin back on now. Sony's skin isn't too bad, you know, it's not the best skin, to be honest. It does feel a bit stale now, because it has been like this for quite a while, but it's not the worst skin at the same time. It gets the job done, I guess. Both of them are quite expandable when it comes to options such as your micro SD. I think they both support quite high capacities of up to 64 or 128 gigs, but don't quote me on that. In terms of raw specifications, the Z2 kind of crushes the 1520. It does have a Snapdragon 801 with 3 gigs of RAM, whereas the 1520 is still rocking the 800 with 2 gigs of RAM. However, in day-to-day usage, you know, they're both very fluid and usable. There is a slight delay when you're going into stuff on the Windows phone sometimes, especially when you're killing it with kind of like multitasking. That's probably because of the older processor, as well as the operating system trying to do too much maybe. But overall, I think that Windows Phone 8.1 is a very smooth experience and something that feels very polished and high quality. Something that I can't complain with really. Z2, you know, very fast and fluid performance. Although it doesn't feel significantly faster than, for example, Nexus 5. It doesn't slow down or anything, you know, it does keep up with what you want it to do. But it is got a skin on it, and you do notice that when going in and out of stuff now and again there is a bit of juddery, but it's not too bad. I think they've rolled out some patches since I first got it, where it was a bit slower. But in terms of performance, you know, you can't really compare them directly because they're using different operating systems, but they're both decent, I'd say, for most people. One thing that I did notice different about them was the cameras. Now, I was quite surprised about this because I was thinking that the newer Xperia Z2 camera would, you know, keep up with or surpass the Lumia's camera. After all, the 1520 has been on the market for a while now. But what I found in indoors environments was the 1520 completely crushed the Z2 in regards to photography in somewhat low light. The pictures it took seemed to be very accurate and highly detailed and true to life, whereas the Z2 kind of tinged on the orange side quite a bit for a lot of the pictures. Both of them are just using the Superior Auto mode on the Z2, so I wasn't really configuring anything. I was just, you know, pointing and shooting. Same with the 1520, didn't configure anything, just held the shutter button down on both of them. And I have to say that I really did prefer the 1520's photos indoors. I've not had much time to do photography tests outdoors on both of them, but from the looks of things, you know, when you take 90% of your photographs indoors, then your 1520 is still a boss phone when it comes to the camera. Yeah, just be aware of that if you are eyeing up these two handsets. I do think that the 1520 probably has a better camera experience. Also, you do get much more customizability, I think, when it comes to the smart camera, which I think on the Nokia, you know, it just gives you that much more control over your shooting. It doesn't support 4K like on the Sony Z2, but if you're not really bothered by that, then it shouldn't be too much of an issue really, because as I said, you do get quite a lot of controls that you can put on, such as your white balance, your ISO, etc. And I do like the wheel that comes up when you do, select something different. So I do like the way you can control the focus as well on the video recording, which is very nice. You can't do that on the Z2, unfortunately. So I do prefer the camera experience on the 1520, if I'm to be honest. But you do get some fun stuff on the Z2, obviously, such as your reality, augmented reality stuff, your time shift stuff, etc. There is that 4K as well, but some people reporting that it overheats the device and makes it restart itself. I've not had that issue myself, but I don't really do much 4K, so something to be aware of, I guess. But overall, I think that whichever one you go for, you're going to be happy with the overall experience. But if you are someone who takes a lot of photography, I would point you in the direction of the Z2, as well as if you are someone who values the multimedia type of experience, then you're not going to get a better phone, I think. Whereas if you're just looking for something which is more pocketable, has better sound quality, is waterproof, and is probably the more ergonomic device, then I think that the Z2's your man. Both of them are comparable when it comes to all the other stuff, really, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. In terms of the battery life, both of them solid battery life because they've got such high capacities in them. Both of them very nice in regards to call quality and reception. But I think it's just the camera really which differs on both of them, obviously, as well as the operating system. If you can't stand Windows Phone, then you're not going to enjoy the 1520, whereas if you think Android is a chaotic mess, then you probably really like the 1520. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here, so I hope you've enjoyed the comparison review, and please subscribe or rate the video, and I'll be back next time. Cheers.